It's funny that you said this, Marcello, because I've discussed this with Basti, and I think YCS Dortmund was the only YCS in the last season where no German was in the finals.
Wow, okay, that's an impressive one. But yeah, I remember that final pretty well, you know.
Oh.
we chanted our national anthem with Alberto. But yeah, this is an impressive start. But obviously we're focused on Steven, but we should also mention obviously what his opponent Rene is on. And that is a deck we have already seen today, because that is Camera branded.
Yeah, the deck seems to be really popular right now. It generates a lot of advantage, but how much does it realistically do without the extra deck?
Oh, wow. And that is an impressive opening. I feel like this deck, even back in the day, it would struggle with consistency, but when it gets things going, like the advantage is impressive, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is like premium starting here, discarding. You're going to have to remind me. I feel like I should know these cards because I played with them so much. Yeah. Pantheism, discarding what the...
There he is, the tag card in the deck.
The Uncamouflage.
This is a newer card. None of us had seen this card. Well, Marcello had seen it before, but I don't think he knew exactly what it did.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much only usable if you don't have an extra deck, we could say. It's very unique to this strategy and a few others. Essentially, it's first of all an Upstart Goblin. Essentially, it throws you a card. And then it's even better in Monarchs. Oh, and there it is. Do you think Rene knows what he's up against?
He must know now what's about to happen, yeah.
Well, maybe he has never played against Monarch in his life, you know. You could never know with these players. Maybe there is, you know, players picking up the game in the last, you know, couple of years, and maybe they've no idea what's going on right now.
I mean, then Rene is in for a tough time.
Yes.
What does Chimera Branded do without the extra deck? We are knowing that this is going to be an extra deck lock. Here we can use the Prime. At least we have the domain. Now we can tribute summon for only one monster to summon the Ether. And Ether is just going to generate even more advantage.
Yeah, and you can't switch off, like...
Oh, we're reading the domain.
Okay, yeah, I was going to say, like, often, you know, these powerful floodgate effects, they tend to be attached to a monster. So people will have Infinite Impermanence as an answer, or Book of Moon, or Book of Eclipse. But this is not attached to a monster, it's attached to a spell and trap, so...
And as you can see here, we do see that Impermanence in hand, but that doesn't help. Wow!
Doesn't help if you can't target.
Yeah.
March of the Monarchs, they're a very old school card. Prevents your level 6 or higher tribute summon monsters from being targeted, I want to say.
Yeah, and also destroyed by card effects.
And destroyed by card effects.
It's both.
So maybe the Hero Book of Eclipse is pretty much the only thing that's going to get you out of this situation. I don't know.
Does the monster forget that it's tribute summon?
I have no idea.
I had the issue a lot back in the day because I was playing Domain Monarch a lot. But I mean, I didn't have the issue that much because nobody was playing Book of Moon, basically.
That's true. That's true. I mean, this is one of the benefits of being in a feature match is that you have a table judge who can help you out with these tricky questions. I like being set face down, and Yu-Gi-Oh comes with a lot of its own kind of rules and little finicky things.
Yeah, this is an impressive start, as you mentioned. Unless there is something along the line of a Book of Eclipse, this domain is shutting down Rene extra deck.
That March of the Monarchs as well, it's shutting down. I think I see a Book of Moon and a book and an Infinite Impermanence. Maybe.
I think it's double prosperity.
Yeah, double prosperity.
Yeah. Does he play any out to this in the main deck?
He plays Book of Moon. He does not play Book of Eclipse, so that is maybe an issue for him. Looking at the domain of the True Monarch, and I don't know if there is an answer here.
You shouldn't. I'm not sure you should be allowed to use Pot of Prosperity either. You know, there's domain. you can't go to your extra deck, so you know.
I was thinking whether, but obviously it's tough to concede this early. Whether if you know you don't have an out to this situation.
I know there is one.
Okay.
And it is a very powerful card, Kishtira Fenrir. One of the few monsters in the game right now that are just impacting the field immediately once they hit without accessing the extra deck.
Let's see if he can pick it up, though. It seems like that's his only hope of staying in this game.
There's also a Kaiju, which is quite funny, because a Kaiju is...
Oh, yeah! Wow, complete with...
Yeah, a Kaiju is kind of a tribute summon monster, but
he does have
not for domain.
He has the Kaiju.
He has the Kaiju in hand, yeah.
It's quite funny. It doesn't count as a tribute summon monster, even though it is expressly summoned by tributing your opponent's monster. Does Steven, you reckon, maybe has another Ether in hand?
That would be...
He's only running 2.
He's only running 2, but he didn't add Ether, like the follow-up copy of Ether. So maybe that means...
I think he's reading it to realize whether the Kaiju works with the domain or not. Maybe if he doesn't pay attention, he thinks, yeah, that doesn't work. You know?
I mean, it's kind of like one of those things you'd try on the playground. You know, well, I summoned this by tributing a monster, so it's a tribute summon monster. It's like, no, that's a specific like game mechanic, rather than a sort of description of what's happened.
For sure. But yeah, it seems like he picked up the talent, which is again an interesting option here, unless there is an Ether that's not really going to be usable here.
I mean, the thing is, does he even have place right here?
Yeah, what does his hand do?
Like, this looks like a lot of
he's got the mirror
interruptions
sword
that
knight.
you can't
Yeah,
you got the knight. Steven, yeah, will allow this to resolve, it seems.
And that is, combined with the Kaiju, just a fantastic combo already.
Do we have any hints on what Steven's face down might be?
Yes, I was thinking there could be a Stormforth, but that maybe also a Prime Monarch to recycle, but I think Stormforth...
If it's Stormforth, then surely the Ether must be in hand.
Yeah.
If you have a Stormforth set, you'd take Ether if it wasn't already in your hand, right?
I would think so. I mean, if Kaijus are running around, Domain Monarch has a really tough time, right?
Yeah, and imagine running into Fluunderies against this as well. the sort of modern version of the Tribute Summon deck.
What do you guys think of Kaijus right now? Because without Kashtira or Iceberg being around, it feels like the real boss monster is now gone, but I guess...
They're still very flexible. They're still useful against Pearly. They're still useful against Domain Monarch. They're very common in matchup. Do you think he's just not seeing it?
Yeah, I don't think he sees it. I think he...
Yeah. Common misconception, guys.
Yeah.
Kaijus are not tribute summon monsters.
Also, there's a really funny interaction right here, because he puts the impermanence in the Monarch's March column. But you can't activate it if March on the one.
You
can
could
put
target
it on
the Prime Monarch.
but I think it's a normal monster.
Yeah, it's a normal monster. So yeah, right now this seems like it will be tough. And now Steven has a lot, because with the Erebus you can just disrupt a lot of your opponent's field or end. So
or graveyard. It does everything.
Even why not?
Also, he is running. Oh, that is a lot of fiends. He's running triple Majesties and triple Vanity's Fiend.
Wow. Okay.
So if you put down the Vanity's Fiend, the Kaiju is shut off.
Yep.
I mean, Steven turned up with one goal, which was to stop any of his opponents having any fun against him. It's like, all of his deck is dedicated to stopping any nonsense that his opponents might be doing.
Yeah, Majesty is also searchable in the deck, which is pretty nice, as it has the same exact stat as a Monarch. So yeah.
Yeah, it's a knockoff. It basically counts as a Monarch for all purposes, I think, in this deck, right?
Pretty much, yeah. And yeah, basically you get the same advantage. So Pantheism once again, and it's a lot. You could get Stormforth, Erebus.
I mean, if you just have Stormforth Ether, that's just game on the table.
I think also, only Erebus is not enough. But I think, yeah, this might be over this turn. Try to take away one of the spell trap downs there.
He does have an Ether. I'm pretty sure he revealed it now. Yeah.
Look at this. This is just This is just straight out of 2016. I think there are like 3 new cards in the deck that you couldn't run in 2016.
And they're all Pendulum cards. And Fenrir.
As he goes for the Ether, this does not work because there is the March. And that's about it. We're seeing a turn
I'm blown away.
Yeah, that's
Is there a Book of Moon, though, maybe, for Rene?
I mean,
no, he has only
also
2.
target this, right?
Yeah, but you can target the whatever monster is summoned off Ether, so it will,
that is true.
It will stop the game being ended this turn.
Fortunately, I'm pretty sure that's double impermanence, so...
Yeah. Now, nothing can be targeted. We're probably going to special summon out an Erebus as well. I think this is the only other card that Ether can special summon, because
he's not playing Kuras. Yeah.
Oh, what a shame. Kuras is such a fun
card. Boy.
No. Yeah. Probably doesn't quite fit with this deck.
Oh. I love Kuras. Oh, and that's it. Yeah, that's it. Wow. Okay. Deserving applause from the crowd, and Monarch is 1-0. Wow. 2023, no time wizard here. Yeah. Okay.
I mean, Rene just entered the wrong domain.
Exactly.
He came out with no extra deck.
Wow. I'm just kind of blown away by seeing that. What do you think Rene is thinking right now? Like, he's got to really think on his feet to come up with what he wants to side deck.
Honestly, I don't think you would expect facing Monarch, especially after winning round 1. I feel like, you know, that is the round. But I guess the first 2 rounds are really where you need to go 2-0 to avoid, you know, a lot of these unique decks around. But
is he siding out Kaijus? I did look like it.
Yeah, I mean, if he did not see the play in the first game, it makes sense to side them out. But this is not a tribute summon.
No, it is definitely not. And I don't know, he's going to have to improvise. What do you think he might side in for this one?
Cosmic Cyclones. I think that Cosmic Cyclones are a decent play for him here. Let's check. He also runs Bystials, and Bystials are also, if you are in a heavy grind game, quite good against the deck. Also, if there is not much of the Monarchs, you can technically get rid of Monarchs.
It has to get rid of special summon
only
monsters,
special
though.
summon monsters, though, unfortunately. Yeah.
Reading cards helps.
Fair enough.
And there were no monsters landed in Steven's grave for the whole game, I don't think.
Yeah, I mean, usually the Bestial seems to be pretty decent against like the Idea setup, but
the Erebus.
We didn't see it, so maybe he's not. You know, you could assume that he might not even play it.
I feel like those Droll and Lockbirds maybe are a candidate.
Yeah.
Oh, that is absolutely true.
Because we saw not only the what's the name of the new Pendulum card?
Anacmofrite.
It's our single word. Yeah.
Anacmofrite.
Okay, and that in addition with Tenacity, Pantheism, etc. Like, there's quite a lot of.
Absolutely. But
Droll and Lockbird against those kinds of decks is always like a two-sided sword, right? Because sometimes they just have the combo in hand. It's not like a huge dragons combo where you search 20 times in one turn. Sometimes you just need this one domain and you draw into it with a Pantheism, then you draw, and your opponent's like, okay, I have Idea, special summon Eidos.
Stormforth, whatever.
Set up Stormforth. Game's over.
It is, but let's find out whether this time around at least he gets to go first and set up his Chimera combos. Will that be enough? Will actually Steven take us with 2-0 lead with Monarchs? Let's find out. Our players are ready. Let's go back to game 2.
All right, looking at Steven's side deck, he also is running Evenly Matched, which is a really strong card against the Chimera branded strategy. Nibiru, I don't think too much. Lightning Storm as well helps sometimes. So also the Bystials can come in handy here.
I'm seeing a crossout designator for Rene. What cards does he think is in both of their decks?
Ash Blossom.
Maybe. Yeah, I guess he would assume so.
Maybe it's just kind of every time you go first with this deck, you just side in the cross out to deal with pesky Ash Blossoms. I think it's a fair assumption that Ash Blossom is in almost every deck list this weekend.
Funnily enough, there is no hand trap in Steven Jacobs' main deck, and only the Bystials in the side deck. Oh, and Nibiru as well.
I love the way that he is just a man with a plan. You know, his deck is just solely dedicated to the one purpose. I like decks where you're so solid in your own game plan that you don't feel like you want to run hand traps and interrupt your opponent's game plan. It's a good feeling.
Sometimes there are decks that just win in the first turn, and then you have a little bit of a problem. You might get hand looped by a Dark World deck.
That's okay. You just don't play the Dark World deck. It's
exactly, if you're in the first 2 rounds.
I love also the Dark Samorg that's in his side deck, which I'm guessing is for Labyrinth. That's a really cool cool option.
So we are seeing the first turn combo set up by Rene. What do you think of the illusion type?
I mean, we saw it in the previous round against Vincenzo that the other effects can come in handy. I guess in general, you can get a lot of things done. It's one of those things where, especially in modern Yu-Gi-Oh, we could say, you tend to focus on different kind of effects, forgetting about, you know, the battle phase and those kind of sneaky things, and it can really caught you by surprise. So why not? I like the addition effect.
But it is very new. There's only actually 4 illusion monsters released at the moment, and 3 of them are appearing in Rene's deck.
Alright, so now we are declaring about 20 chain links at once after one activation, because all of those trigger during the fusion summon, which is kind of okay, kind of cool.
It is cool. Steven's just counting them up. It's like, okay, so you get the Chimera itself, and then you get Big Wing Baphomet, and you get Gazelle.
I mean, of course he wouldn't know the cards, because usually no fusion summons happen under his watch.
Oh, he's using the Druisworm here. I love that.
Alright.
Fair enough.
I feel like Fenrir kind of hoses the Druisworm a little bit. It makes it feel a little less satisfying that it's not going to deal with what, you know, another threat. It's just going to get quite cleanly answered by the Fenrir. As long as Rene remembers. It's one of those things, so sometimes it can be hard to keep track of everything when you've just resolved like 5 chain links.
Yeah.
To remember, okay, afterwards I'll use this Fenrir.
He does remember.
Very well played by Rene here. And funnily enough, the Fenrir is also already now to the domain. There is another one in his hand if it gets removed. But Steven, if he wants to set up a domain lock, as we call it, he has to pay close attention to not clear the entire field of Rene, because then he can just special summon out the Fenrir again.
Yeah, that's a good point. But what if you do it with a Vanity's Fiend as well? That's the...
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Yeah.
Stormforth Vanity's Fiend, let's go.
Good old days.
Alright, no access to the branded fusion, so this is not the most impressive field that I've ever heard of. But, I mean, it might still be enough for Monarchs.
And this time we are not discarding a Calbeck off the end, I assume, so this should be a better effect, yeah.
What do we hit here? Oh, it is the Majesty's Fiend.
Okay. Yeah, definitely tough time here from Steven. Only 4 cards remaining in his hand, and he needs to deal with quite the field. Guardian Chimera is could come down, so...
Yeah, I'm really excited to see what he's got to come up with here. I don't know what other side deck options he might have.
I think there is an evenly matched in the hand of Steven, which is going to take care of 2 of 3 cards. However, is this the card that really helps you get into the game?
I have a plan.
Ooh, he has Change of Heart and Majesty's Fiend.
That does it, honestly.
And Stormforth.
Unfortunately, though,
Pantheism, yeah?
The Fenrir
could be Pantheism, Stormforth, and Majesty, actually, which it's honestly pretty sick.
It's pretty good. It's still
Yeah.
Fenrir can just crash into the Majesty's Fiend even if it can't use its effect. Well, what do you keep here if you're running the fusion?
He's debating. He might keep the Fenrir, it looks like. Yeah, he does.
Interesting.
So now, I think you activate the Pantheism for sure if that's what you have, but...
Yeah, because you can always get another Stormforth.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a change of heart.
Oh, no,
though.
it is a change of heart, okay, yeah.
Oh, Steven runs... Does Steven run Fenrir?
Yeah.
So he can add his own Fenrir.
Oh,
now.
that is
That's
really
pretty
good.
cool, yeah.
I really like this line of Rene to keep the Fenrir, because then he secures that he can have a Fenrir in case of a domain lock in the next turn, which is really well played by him.
I'm sure Steven appreciates it as well. But yeah, I'll take that, thank you.
I mean, he is going to summon the Majesty's Fiend over it, and then Rene will have to crash in the next turn. So this gives Steven another turn where he can play with a Stormforth and a Fenrir. Oh, there is the Majesty's Fiend. The crowd loves it again. But this is not there to stick forever. However, if the Fenrir is summoned next turn to crash into the Majesty's Fiend, it can't search before that.
Yeah.
I think if you're Rene, you'll take that.
If that was a Vanity's Fiend, though, I think that would have been straight up game, yeah. So interesting, but unfortunately not quite. And now Rene will have to find a way out of this.
I love that talents. It's so funny. It's like Majesty's Fiend's like no monster effects can be activated.
Yep.
No.
I think cross out Banish Majesty's Fiend right now would be a great play.
What?
Someone in defense. Okay.
Is he afraid of Honest?
Oh, is he trying to go for a Guardian
That
Chimera
cannot
and
be
then attack
activated.
over?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know.
Okay.
Wow, if he just passes this turn and Steven draws into
What?
a monster, that can be... he does not look too happy about this. This is not the top deck he needed. But I mean, his opponent did not attack the last turn. Maybe he gives Steven another turn.
That was a huge risk, though, yeah? Because, I mean, I guess so.
I don't understand why you wouldn't just attack your opponents.
This is really not the draw you want to have. It is the card that searches something when you... The Return of the Monarchs, there I have it. If you tribute
But there was
summon
his last card was Pantheism though, right?
No, I think it's Stormforth.
Oh, okay, okay.
What if you actually go for the Stormforth into normal summon of Fenrir with like 2 tributes? That's like a fun way to do it.
I mean, you can search with the return.
Yeah,
then.
exactly.
Yeah,
and you search another, I guess.
You don't have a Majesty's Fiend anymore, which is a downside.
But I mean, you know, your opponent can out it. I know, they just didn't.
They just don't want to.
Okay. Oh, it is another crossout designator that does not really help here. Does Rene just pass on this?
He might. Okay, no, changed his
No,
mind.
we've decided. He's changed his mind. He's changed his battle position. It's time.
Rene finds the line, probably. And now we're going to... Yep, this looks like a crash and a direct attack. Getting this extra damage on the field. Very well played by Rene.
Oh, instead he actually activates the Chimera Fusion right away. So...
what can this fusion summon?
No, he's just...
Almost anything.
Yeah.
Oh, that's very cool. This can't destroy the Majesty's Fiend, funnily enough.
The Illusion Beast, right? Yeah.
Yeah, because it can't destroy any monsters by battle. And it can't set it to 0 either, because you can't activate its effect. So I think you still just have to crash with the Fenrir. I don't think it makes a difference to that kind of math.
Maybe we just lost a lot of monster effects on this action right here.
Yeah.
It does feel like you've lost some resources doing that. Because instead you could just crash with Fenrir, and then attack with Mirror Sword Knight, use its effect during the battle phase. I think that's even more damage.
No, but yeah, he shouldn't...
Yeah, this does not negate all the monsters on the field. This just stops activated effects from happening.
Just deal some damage.
Yeah, so I think this is slightly less damage than just attacking with Fenrir first.
Are we going to crash in with the Fenrir still? Because Rene really wants to have this Fenrir as an out to the... Okay, now he does.
It is an out to the Majesty's Fiend. It did the job.
Yeah. Now he has double crossout designator and triple tactic talents.
Wasn't this just straight up 2400 less damage? Yeah.
Yes.
It was even. If you just kept the Mirror Sword Knight and attack with Fenrir first, then you.
Yeah, no, of course. I just mean in this battle phase. If he just crashed and attacked with 3100.
He also could have attacked twice with the.
Yeah.
Fusion as well for.
It's fine. It's fine.
An extra 700.
He got rid of the problem cards, so he ended up where he wanted to be.
The biggest issue right now is that his hand doesn't do anything. So obviously Steven has no way of knowing that, but yeah.
But Rene does have that resource in his... Oh, he doesn't actually, because it got banished. The previous Guardian Chimera got banished. It's not in the graveyard.
Yep.
But now Steven has a Fenrir.
Yeah, it's Fenrir really just gonna carry it home.
Yeah. Wow.
What's it? Does Rene have anything to negate the Fenrir?
Also,
Rene could have set the crossout designator and then finished the last Fenrir because he knew that there was a Fenrir.
Because the Fenrir can now attack, you just use Crossout on the Fenrir and that does it, but... Wow.
Assuming Rene has a third Fenrir in his deck, which I guess he would.
He does. That could have been huge for Rene to possibly keep his monster and keep the pressure going.
But at least he's gonna go for this War Knight.
Does he also have the Cornfield Codal in his graveyard to negate the targeting effect?
Okay. Pretty good pickup here. Let's see if he can find a tribute monster. It doesn't look too happy, but I think it was a monster he picked up.
What monsters does he have that aren't tribute monsters?
Another copy of the Pendulum, I guess.
Yeah, that must be it.
Yeah. Or maybe another Fenrir, but yeah.
Fenrir is a tribute monster.
Yeah, it is. It kind of counts.
There must be a tribute summon coming down. Return of the Monarchs.
That could be huge, because as Leo was saying, if you kept the cross-up for the Fenrir, then you could have kept the Sword Knight, you know, for a potential tribute, but let's see.
Now this is going to be a huge turn. For
he does pick up a tribute. Wow.
Yeah, he has the Fenrir.
It was actually Fenrir?
You can just tribute summon the second Fenrir, right?
The Fenrir was negated. It's a Vanity Speed.
That is a big one. That is a huge one.
Wow.
now he can even search for an ether, which is
just in case. Yeah.
Interesting. I feel like maybe Steven should have special summoned.
Yeah, the pendulum, right?
Yeah, because now it's stuck in the extra deck for a while until the Vanity's Fiend leaves the field, or is negated or dealt with in some way.
Could have been a decent chunk of damage. That is true.
Well, just so you have no extra deck, so you can activate your domain and stuff.
Yeah. But I mean, if he had domain, he would have activated it before. Of course, this is also good in the following turns. But oh, we draw the cornfield. This is not the card that Rene needed. In fact, I don't even know which card he could have needed. And he's offering the handshake.
Wow.
This is a 2-0 sweep by Monarchs.
Crazy stuff. Yeah.
Steven Jacobs dominating. Yeah, that pun didn't quite go away.
Okay, it was a good
try. I liked it.
It's fine. It's
Thank
fine.
you.
We appreciate it. Yeah. What a match. What a match. Honestly.
A lot happening there.
Yeah, and Steven is up 2-0 at YCS Dortmund with Monarch 2023.
Top cut contender.
I feel like this is one of those advantages of taking a rogue deck, you know, because I feel like if Rene had known, you know, obviously you wouldn't expect him to know this matchup, but if it was a more known matchup, he might have known that what the Kaiju did and so on and so forth.
Yeah,
he
for
looked
sure.
like he was kind of a bit confused at times as to how best to deal with what Steven was doing.
I think there were 2 win conditions. There were win conditions in both games. And the first one would have been the Kaiju, and then I think they had the Illusion Knight as well. So he could have played in that game.
Yeah, I think to that point maybe it was a little too late, but maybe I guess when he switched Fenris back and forth through defense and attack, maybe he could have just done the same play on the previous turn. Maybe it would have worked out differently, but regardless, I don't know. I think the spotlight is on Steven. He keeps on bringing his favorite deck to events, and sometimes it might work out. You know.
Maybe today's the day.
Yeah.
I mean, he has perfected the strategy of just watching your opponent not play, so that is a very
strategy.
Strong. No special summons, no summons from the extra deck regardless.
No monster
effects.
Yeah.
This is just absolutely fantastic. No targeting as well. Is there anything else?
There might be. You never know what he has in stock for us, but impressive stuff nonetheless. Game 1, yeah, he showed a dominant start, and in game 2 looked very tough. I mean, he started his turn with only 4 cards in hand. So 1 gone from the Chimera, 1 Bestial gone from the Fenrir. So that's tough to play with 4 cards with Monarchs, and he pulled it off. So great stuff, and it's obviously great, I think, to see these decks that are very old just working out, and hopefully we get to see more of them later on throughout the day.
I mean, the structure deck edition for the Monarchs was really, really good in 2015 or 16
Around,
even.
so yeah.
But the Fiends, those were ages old. I think I can't remember the name of the set.
Vanity's Fiend? I have no idea. Vanity's Fiend has been around for a very, very long time.
I mean, they are played, even in the Time Wizard 2010 we played, so it has been a while, we could say. But regardless, thank you guys for being with us. It was a great round 2. I hope you enjoyed it, but we still have 7 more rounds remaining for the day. A lot of Yu-Gi-Oh coming up, but before we do, we have Ed ready with the winner of round 2, Steven Jacobs. Let's hear it from them.
Thank you very much, Marcello. Yes, I am joined by Steven, aka Lithium, here in the interview area, just winning the 2nd feature match here at YCS Dortmund 2023. Steven, how are you feeling?
Stressed a little bit because of the feature match. You'll never get used to it. But, I mean, a little bit unexpected. But, I mean, the matchups in today's format, I feel, are somewhat favorable for Monarch. So when I saw, like, branded, I was like, okay, this should be doable.
The Chimera deck as well, it relies on those fusion monsters. So when you knew that that was the deck you were going up against, did you feel pretty confident immediately?
Yeah, a little bit. The thing is that like those 1-card tribute summons like Vanities and Majesties, they solve a lot of your problems, like with the fusions, like you just saw in the feature. So yeah, I was like, okay, this should be a doable matchup. It's not like, let's say, a few formats ago, Tournament pumping out all of those big monsters, and it's very hard for Monarchs to, you know, break that board. But this is a little bit easier compared to back then. Yeah.
Speaking of Monarchs, talk to us about Monarchs. A lot of people umming and erring, saying they haven't got it. Is it 2016 again? So you regularly play Monarchs. It's sort of become a deck that you're quite attached to. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, I think I've been playing the deck ever since 2006. So that's like pretty much ever since, you know, the beginning. And it's just, you know, the archetype, how it plays, how it works out. It's, you know, kind of an easy deck, and it's not the best deck, far from this format. But you know, it's something that I enjoy to play, so I feel comfortable with it. People might not know the deck, and that's to your advantage, I think. So that's one of the biggest reasons I still play it.
I mean, it's clearly gone well for you. You're currently 2-0. One feature match here at YCS Dortmund. It's going okay. Just a couple of things going through the 2 games that we saw. You basically locked Rene out of the extra deck pretty much immediately. He had a kaiju in hand, but he didn't use it, so you just ended up attacking for game in game 1. So talk to us about how you were feeling throughout all of the steps of game 1.
I think when I won the die roll, of course, winning the die roll with this deck is something you want to do because you want to go first, set up domain, vanities, etc. And again, as soon as I saw his prosperity, I was like, please no duster, please no duster. And as soon as I saw he passed, like that in that game 1, I felt that, okay, this should be my duel. And then game 2, after side decking, hopefully no brick. And my opening hand wasn't the best, especially after that discard from him. But eventually, like, I think one of the last draws, my top deck was Vanity's Fiend. So I was like Stormfort, Vanity's Fiend, and...
You had Majesty's Fiend at the beginning as well, which really disrupted them. So basically, those Fiends both came in handy and basically took you all the way through. So Monarchs, like you said, quite unusual. Not many people know it. How far do you think you can take Monarchs through YCS Dortmund 2023?
I don't know. Like, my goal is to, like, okay, I want to do well, obviously. I want to, you know, get that as high as possible, but my goal is to, you know, just enjoy, see everyone again, meet up everyone. Like, that's my main goal. So for the tournament, maybe if I reach day 2, but yeah, we'll see. But okay, if you can reach day 2, then the tournament is succeeded.
But it's all about having fun.
Exactly, I agree.
That's what we like to see. Well, congratulations, Stephen. I hope Monarchs can take you quite far during this. We'll see if you make it to day 2.